All right, how many people are going to do American style ice cream? Raise your hands. Okay, how many are going to do Italian ices? And how many are going to do dairy free? Okay, and gelato.
What are the rest of you
What
going
are
to
the
do?
rest of you going to do?
They're here for the free ice cream.
Huh?
Okay.
All?
All right, well, I'm going to start off. We do, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show today, we do something called Questions Answered, Christi and I. It's 10 minutes short, and we do it every Wednesday and put it out there on YouTube. So I'm just going to elaborate on that. I had a customer who complained to me, and he said, "You're always bad-mouthing gelato." And I thought about it, and I said, well, yeah, maybe it appears that way, but let me see if I can't explain the reasons why. Gelato is sophisticated flavors. Very highbrow, pistachio, tiramisu, fruit of Tabasco. These are flavors that adults like and will buy, especially when you're on vacation. Keeping in mind, all food, all beverage tastes better on vacation. A Heineken beer tastes better on a beach than it does underneath the 3rd Avenue Mugger Mover subway back in the Bronx where my factory was. So when you're over in Italy, everything tastes wonderful. You're on vacation. But what sells? In the 90s, we had a big push, late 90s, early 2000s, a very big push on gelato. Everybody was going on vacation to Europe and coming back saying how wonderful it was. But the sales figures showed that it just wasn't selling that much. What people were buying and are buying today, by a vast majority, is American hard ice cream like we've been making today. Something that's really flavorful, made from ingredients that we know, like blonde Oreo cookies, or salted caramel, or my favorite, mint chip, which I mention all the time. These are flavors that Americans like. And the interesting thing is the United States Dairy Board looks at what sells all around the world. Over in the Arab states, they were very heavily gelato up until a few years ago, and now they have turned to American-style ice cream. The same thing has happened New Zealand, Asia, and Australia. And we see that in the phone calls that we get, that people are calling up about ice cream machines. Africa, to the most part, also is going to be American-style ice cream. South America, Central America, has a lot of European influence, so it's still very much gelato. So the point is, when you set up a business, you have to be able to sell not only a product that you're proud of, but a product that people are going to buy. And if you're selling gelato and the vast majority of people are buying American-style ice cream, you're selling the wrong product. And you will make money, but you won't make what you really could be making if you were selling something people like. So American ice cream is a trend that has been around forever, as far back as you can go. Italian ice is rapidly taking hold. Always was big up our way in New York, New England, Chicago. But now it's spreading throughout the country. And the newest thing, dairy-free, which Christi is an expert on if you have any questions, is a non-dairy frozen dessert. We refer to it as an ice cream. The original name was vegan frozen dessert, but vegan sounds terrible, so we call it dairy-free. It's a nicer sounding name. It's a great product, and you've got a whole age group. Jeff and I are the baby boomers, and there are 72 million of us. The millennial age group, about 21 to 39, where Christi fits in, though she's not a millennial. She's a rock rib corporate type.
You want the shovel?
Yeah, right. But that age group is what's looking at the dairy-free the most. And at 85 million of them, how can you ignore it? I call up customers of mine up in New England. I tell them about this dairy-free. And the backlash I got was fascinating. I've mentioned this before in these tapes. They would say, Steve, we've been in business for 70 years with your machine. We've got a nice big family business. We make a lot of money. What do I need with this new fad? And I'm a New Yorker, so I'm rather blunt. blunt, and I just say, well, look at the people in your store. What's the average age? Oh, I don't know, maybe 104. Yeah, I say, yeah, exactly. They're really getting old, and they're really enjoying your ice cream, but they're really getting old. How many people in there, how many 35, 38-year-olds with a small child with them are in the store? Oh, I don't know. I think there was one in here last week. Well, if you're going to be in business, you better understand your demographics, because if only one millennial has been in your store last week, you're really missing out on the biggest group that has ever come along in history. So I'm not saying do a whole store in dairy-free. I just wouldn't do it. But I would have 2 to 4 flavors in dairy-free. And on everything I do, social media is the way to go. I mean, even for an old goat like me, social media, I went from doing trade shows to making 500 videos to put out on social media, because this gets a better reaching audience. And so if you advertise every Thursday night your flavor of the week, and if it's something crazy like chocolate jalapeno,
Pickle Italian ice,
Christi did, it's going to bring people in just because that's crazy. I got to try it. And it's generating advertising for you. It's a wonderful way to advertise yourselves. Costs next to nothing. I mean, up until 3 years ago, I was doing print ads, half a page, black and white, cost me $1,500, and I got next to nothing out of it. Now Christi puts up a picture of our golden retrievers eating ice cream, and we get 1 million hits. I mean, it's incredible. So that was my starting off thing that I wanted to discuss. But if you guys have something to talk about, and we want to hear from you guys with any questions, this is your chance. So yes, sir.
Do y'all make adult Italian ice?
Adult Italian ice?
Of course.
Yes, the alcohol.
I've got lots of recipes for those. What did I did one with tequila rose and pink lemonade. I did one last seminar, pink champagne lemonade, and that was pink champagne and lemonade. The possibilities are endless. I did red sweet wine with mixed frozen berries. You can add alcohol into Italian ice all day long, and you could do a cream ice using Bailey's. Into tequila rose, that's a liqueur, so that's a cream as well, of course.
It's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
I have a question. Since you guys have been in business for forever, it seems like, how do you guys come up with your flavors?
You.
Okay.
I just randomly walk down the store and I pick up items. The Latino aisle, that's one of my favorites. You can always find, the cream of coconuts, and then the frozen fruit section, and just reading things. And I am a big baker. My mom she ran 300 bakeries, so she taught me how to cook, and I know how to do canning. I lived off grid for 10 years, so I know how to do all that. So just even my own recipes that I've used for cooking, and it just inspires and generates from that, like a peach cobbler, the lavender, just throwing different random fruits to see which one works. Even a childhood recipe that you might have had, or the sweet corn with the tahini on it and mayonnaise. Obviously, you don't want to put mayonnaise in there, but there's just come up with something. Walk around the store, and as Jeff says, go supermarketing.
Jeff's the one who invented this, really. They would walk. Go ahead, tell them about it.
No, please.
Yeah, not much. You did.
It
I
could
say it
only
like
be out of
supermarketing?
ignorance, because I didn't know any better.
But it changed a generation of customers for us, because they used to buy 6 cases of strawberry in cans, heavy gloppy strawberries with red dye 40 and corn syrup. And that's the way I made strawberry ice cream up until 10 years ago. And that was the norm. That was the average. And we got a whopping $2.25 for a scoop, because we were told we couldn't get any higher. Jeff comes along, charging $5-6, and is going and buying frozen bags of strawberries and throwing them in the machine and saying, that's it, it's strawberry ice cream, what else do I need? And it really was ingenious. I get a lot of my flavors. Paula, my wife, our office manager, is an insatiable reader. And around this time of year, all sorts of articles come out about all these great ice creams. Did you read that one yet that I dropped on your desk? This guy was hysterical. He was more my age. And he went around New York City and critiqued all these new flavors. Every one of them was worse than the other. And the combinations were absolutely ridiculously horrible. But some of them just, I look at it and I just say, hey, that sounds like a lot of fun. Let's make an ice cream that The more cold ice cream you eat, the hotter you get. You know, that's the jalapeno. The pickle, we had a customer call up, and he says, my number one selling ice cream is pickle. And we go, ew, that's disgusting.
I wanted
Let's
to figure
make
that
it.
out.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
What was the other one that we did? Oh, bacon. I had a customer ask me, how do you make ice cream with real bacon? I said, I don't know, but I'll find out. And I did. I had my husband candy the bacon with some brown sugar and maple syrup, and it went into the machine with some more brown sugar. And Paula and I went to a bistro, and they had matcha green tea. It was the best iced matcha green tea ever. Shush, it was so good. So,
I didn't say anything.
it was fantastic. It's one of our favorite drinks, and we decided to figure out how to make that into an ice cream. So took the ingredients from the matcha green tea drink and put it into the dairy mix to make the ice cream.
All right, who wants matcha tea ice cream or bourbon vanilla with real bourbon? Yay! Okay, that answers that one. But see, the idea is that when you have your own machine, your own store, you can do anything you want. You can have fun with it. I'm not going to relive the story about my Sharknado Italian ice because it got me sued too many
Or
times.
mint Italian ice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my mint. Christi tasted my mint chip Italian ice. And she took one, there's a crowd like this. She takes one taste of it, and she turns and she goes, well, I won't need mouthwash for another 3 months.
Oh,
But
man.
I like to make bad ice creams because every once in a while, something that sounds horrible, like the Boston favorite, the grape nuts, is a great flavor.
It is.
You don't know until you try it.
But understand, if you're going into business, you have the other side of the counter are customers.
Yeah.
And
Always
sure
think of
you-
the basics.
sure, you can offer jalapeno chocolate ice cream, but it's not going to put your kids through college.
No.
In my opinion, neither will dairy-free or sugar-free, but that's another subject. But you have to take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 recipes and decide which ones to use and make them tried and true. Now, for 10 years, I never had vanilla on my menu. Never sold vanilla ice cream because I was in a quest to be the other guy. So I didn't have vanilla, I didn't have chocolate, I didn't have strawberry, I didn't have pistachio, and I succeeded hugely by having my own flavors. And those original flavors, by the way, are in the book, the 20, 25 flavors. That's what got me going for close to 10 years and a lot of money. But as you get into this, you're going to want to play. It's natural. You're going to want to become Steve and Christi. And ooh, you know, you'll be at a restaurant and they'll have a flavor of dessert, a triple layered chocolate death cake, and you, boy, that would make a great ice cream. So you'll go back and you'll play with it. And sometimes you'll develop a world-class flavor. Not necessarily the extreme ones with jalapenos or bacon in it, but other flavors. And you'll play with them, and then you'll say, whoa, you'll have your friends try it, and before you know it, you've got a world-class flavor, something your competitors don't have. I was always looking for that. I don't want my competitors to have it. We wanted Oreo cookie ice cream, but everybody's got Oreo cookie ice cream. So what I did was I combined it with Nestle Crunch bars for little bits of crunch in it, and I called it Oreo Crunch. And that's still a top seller in our store now, but it's different. They can't get that anywhere. Kahlua cookie, can't get that anywhere. So we have probably close to 30 on our board, our menu board, and I would say that you couldn't find 25 of them anywhere else. But you know, you'll come across it. It's natural to want to play, and when you have the machine that can do it, and you get the dairy mix, and you realize you can turn, as Christi said, you can turn anything into ice cream. Some will be good, some won't, but you can make ice cream out of anything. I always keep a pad and pen by my bed, and I wake up and I write something down, and then I'll either look at it in the morning and laugh and throw it away, or in my spare time, I'll give it a shot. Mm-hmm. And there's a way to do these, as I said before, on the table. You know, with certain measurements, you can create a recipe, try, and if it's good, just do some simple math, and then you got it in the machine, you're ready to go.
So what you see here is there is a balance between the two of them. It really is great when you have your own machine because Breyers is not going to do anything, or Hershey's is not going to do anything exotic. They're going to play it straight, comfortable, and the flavors are not going to pop. They're just going to, I mean, their coffee looks like brown water and tastes like brown water. It doesn't taste like coffee. So making your own, you have the ability to do all this. Plus, with the way shipping is nowadays and delays, you've got inventory problems. You might have salted caramel as your number one flavor, and your supplier says, I'm sorry, we won't have that again till August. Well, your customers aren't going to understand that. They come in. I contend that 95% of the people walking into your store already know what flavor they're going to buy. We all have our favorite. We'll look at the others, and we'll probably taste the others, and I want to try to sell you a pint. They're still going to sell me my mint chip, but I'm going to take home a pint of coconut just to try it. But don't discount, and I'm sure you won't, the social media aspect of it, because I do want a fantastic vanilla ice cream, but it's not going to get me 50,000 hits talking about a vanilla ice cream, talking about how Christi made the pickle ice cream, and the only social redeeming value, Italian ice, the only social redeeming value of pickle Italian ice was that Mickey, your husband, did make this beautiful flat bacon, and we stuck a piece into every cup. I don't have one here. And people just love the fact that they could use the bacon as a scoop for this awful Italian ice.
It wasn't awful.
Oh, yeah, it was.
To you, well, that's because you guys don't like pickles. I'm a pickle junkie.
Yes, you
so
are a pickle junkie.
I am. It's whatever I eat or order, it's extra pickles with a side of pickles and then extra.
Anyway, you could throw bacon on Brussels sprouts, and I might even eat it.
I do that.
Yeah. So anyway, there is. Jeff is absolutely right, and our aspect of it is a bit of a fun part that's going to try to get people to talk about you. The wonderful thing that's happened about this is when you went to look for a location, it had to be the richest town in the best county and the best location and the best parking in order to be a successful ice cream parlor. Now, thanks to social media, just the way Paul and I go to restaurants, we don't go to large name restaurants. There's a place in Palm Beach called Bucan, and it's $1 gazillion to walk in the door. We don't go there. We go to places that are a little hole in the wall that someone texted us and said, we went there last week, they only have 30 seats, but the chef changes the menu every night. What a great restaurant. And so what's happened with location, and Jeff has talked about this for years, is you don't need to you don't have to go into total debt to get a great location. You put up a good sign that says ice cream, as he says. I would put up something a little fancier, but still same gist, and advertise it on social media, and people will find you like they never have before. And it's just a wonderful medium to be in the ice cream business, because after all, again, as Jeff says, you're selling something that everybody on earth either eats or wishes they could eat. Now, you can't say that about coffee, you can't say it about steak, certainly wouldn't say it about Brussels sprouts. So it is a really wonderful product that we're selling here, is frozen desserts.
I'll never forget the. Ooh, sorry.
What is the market on like ice cream cakes? Is there a market for that? I mean, I know like Dairy Queen and things like that.
For what? Ice cream?
Ice cream
cakes.
cakes. I think it's a tremendous market for what I was talking about, is that you, for $22, which seems like a lot, you're really getting your value. That cake lasts more than dinner. The pints are only going to last through dinner, or maybe 11 o'clock tonight. Then you got to go buy more. But that cake is going to stay around for days. Carvel always went on the theory that everybody on earth has a birthday, and an ice cream cake's a heck of a lot more fun than a regular cake. There's a guy, Mike's Ice Cream, in Secaucus, New Jersey. The average car is either going by at 140 miles an hour past his store, or 0 because of the traffic to the Holland Tunnel. And you look at his freestanding building, he's got 3 freezers stuck onto the building. Well, Mike, who would not qualify, he's a wonderful man, but he wouldn't qualify as a star salesman, had a great idea. Right around the corner from him, over by the Jersey Turnpike, was this building complex called Harmon Cove. That actually stands for Hart's Mountain Corporation, the birdseed people. and they built buildings to lease out, and so every floor had bunches of different offices. And Mike thought to himself, you know, I'm not getting dressed up outside of a dirty T-shirt and a pair of jeans. That's all life requires. So I'm not going to get to see the CEO of all these different corporations. So one day he made a bunch of ice cream cakes, brought napkins, and brought forks or spoons and his business cards. And he knew he could go see the receptionist. And so he went and saw the receptionist of every business on every floor, dropped off a free cake with the spoons and the plates and his business cards, and said, next time you have a corporate event, instead of giving them a bologna sandwich and a Diet Coke, call me up, I'll bring over a couple of pies or ice cream cakes. Next time one of the staff has a birthday party, call me, we'll bring over a pie. He gets all their business just in this tight little area because he found a niche market that was fantastic. One last thing about it is when I was raising 4 kids, my only job, other than to sit on a chair and watch baseball on weekends, was to go out and pick up the birthday cake for one of the children's birthday. All right, I can do that. I went to Longford's Ice Cream in Rye to pick it up. And then the phone call comes, and it's, oh, by the way, we need cups and spoons, and we need spoons and plates. Don't forget to get them. And don't forget the candles. Well, now I got to go to Walgreens, and I probably have to go to, some other store to get the candles. Now I've got 3 jobs to do, and that damn cake, excuse me, that darn cake is melting. So my job just got really difficult, and I'm really not happy about it. So what does Longford's do? He also carries very simple plates and napkins and birthday candles. I don't care what it costs. If I had to pay $7 for a 2 to put on the cake, I'll pay for it because it means I don't have to hunt all over town for a 2 for the 2-year-old. And so it made life easy for me. So they sold everything associated with the birthday cake. They don't have a display of 20 cakes. Up in New York, you go into a diner, and there are cakes and pies. When you first walk in, I went, who buys this stuff? You came for scrambled eggs, bacon, and hash browns, and they've got these cakes. Well, people do buy them, but you go to an ice cream parlor and you see a cake display, and that cake's 4 days old. So what Longford's does, I'll quit.
Oh, no, you're fine.
What Longford's does is he's got a book of nice pictures, sits down with you and says, here's, you're having 9 people. I suggest you buy this next larger cake because some of the fathers are going to pick up kids and they'd like a piece too. So he upsells them on that. He says, now your cake's not made, but we're going to make it the day before. And what I suggest is, we can make you any flavor you want, but Oreo cookie is really popular with the kids. Well, he's got 15 Oreo cookie pre-made cakes in the freezer. So he's pushing you to the Oreo cookie. He's upsold you to the larger size. All he has to do is put some frosting on it and the kid's name, and it's done. And that is a big business.
And he does the sheet cakes and the round cakes? Or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a great business. But you don't have to buy a fancy display. Just get a nice book and sit down with the mom and say, this is what I recommend. And what time's the party? The party's at 3. We'll have it ready when we open at 10 a.m. We'll make it the night before after we close. So the inclination is, oh, that's really fresh. And it is. It's just been in a hardening cabinet, 25 below freezer. Yes, sir.
Well, I have a question about the machine. Mm-hmm. I think at some point earlier you mentioned that, but I didn't quite understand. You said that for CB350, we can only fill like half the batch, right?
It makes 6 to 7 quarts.
So the capacity is based on the finished product, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So can I do the full batch? I mean, I put in like 6 or 7 quart of liquid.
No, because ice cream has air in it.
Yeah.
If you put 7 quarts in it, it would take a half hour to freeze, and it would be an ice cream that nobody would want to eat.
Okay.
Because ice cream consists of milk, cream, sugar, skim milk, and air.
Yeah.
Without air, it's just like eating a big, slice of lard.
So how much can I put in?
It can double. So you put 3.5 quarts in and get 7 back.
Oh, just half. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, 3.5 quarts in, 7 quarts
So how
back.
about the bigger machine, like the 12?
Proportionally bigger. If it's a 24-quart machine,
Yeah.
you put in 12 quarts and you can
Okay.
get up to 24.
Okay, just half.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We have lunch.
Not yet, keep talking.
Oh, one more question? Anybody got one more?
I have one
2 minutes.
more question.
Okay.
It's a bit silly because I'm new in this business.
No silly
So what
question.
is the difference between that hardening freezer
Mm-hmm.
and the regular freezer, like the Master Chef one?
Good question.
Why do we need that one?
Good question. Because the regular freezer,
Yeah.
like the ones over on the side wall over there,
Yeah.
which are only $800, they are designed, they can go to 15 below zero.
Yeah.
But they're designed for you to buy frozen green beans and frozen pizzas at the supermarket. They're already frozen and you're bringing them home and they're maintaining the product frozen. The cabinet didn't have to do any work. If I want to make soup and I want to freeze it, so if I make 10 gallons of soup and put it into that 10 below cabinet, that's such a load on the cabinet. It's so much work to go from hot soup to frozen soup that the temperature in there isn't going to be 10 below. It's going to go all the way up to plus 40 or 50. And if that was ice cream, the ice cream would have been ruined. It's not. It's made to hold a cold temperature, not to pull it down. We can make it work in the slightly in the short run to freeze ice cream by only filling it up 1/3 of the way. So if it's got 3 levels, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I can fill up the bottom level today and freeze it overnight, and it will do the job. And then that's like having blocks of ice. So tomorrow I can put another 1/3 in, and I've got my product the next day. And then the third, and then I've got the 3rd day. So we're looking at 4 days to fill up that cabinet. This is designed to go to 25 below Fahrenheit and stay no warmer than minus 15, give or take. So no matter how much ice cream, I can make ice cream for 10 hours and fill that up. I can only use the chest freezer for an hour before it's full, and then I have to quit for the day. So I can put much, much more product in there because it doesn't just go to 25 below, it pulls the heat out of the ice cream. If it was that hot soup, it's literally going to pull the heat out. And that's what makes it a hardening cabinet or a blast freezer. There's only a few of them on the market, and they're very unique, and it's going to allow you to do much, much more volume in your store instead of having to buy 10 or 12 of the chest freezers, which you can do it, but nobody has a store that big. We're doing 900 square foot stores now instead of 2,000 square foot.
So is that the rough calculation, 1/3? So say you have a walk-in freezer, I could do 1/3. I could fill in 1/3 if I don't have a blast freezer.
A walk-in freezer is a whole different ballgame. A walk-in freezer can be set to go to, say, 15 below. And you have enough, you can put enough refrigeration on it that it won't get warmer than 10 below. So it's acting like a hardening cabinet, but the difference is I put my tubs in there, and they're in very tight and very close, not much airspace, and it's got to be really cold and work really hard to do the job, and it does. The walk-in room, I've got shelves everywhere, and I've got space between the tubs, and the blowers are going, and when I open the door here, the cold is falling out until I close the door, and the walk-in, I close the door behind me so I'm not losing the cold. So if you go the route of a walk-in, you can do 15 below and get the same net effect of this being 25 below. Because the walk-in is going to have much, much more space. And if you know that you're going to be that big, the walk-in is a great option.
Right. Well, we already have one. That's why.
Yeah, it's the perfect option. And even if you had one that only went to 0, you could still add on another condensing unit, refrigeration unit, and make it go colder.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So that'll work. Let's eat. It's all right over there. Help yourselves.